I'm currently running over 6 faceless YouTube channels that just last month generated me over $60,000, and the best part about it is that I only had to work a few hours a day. So in today's video, what I'm going to show you is how to actually scale your YouTube channel to $50,000 plus per month without actually burning out and eventually taking yourself out of the business in order to make money. That way you can do exactly what I do and just work a few hours a day and still make a shit ton of money. So now let's get into the video. Let's start with the biggest group of people watching this video, and it's going to be under $10,000 a month. So right now, most of you watching this are going to be making under $10,000 a month. You probably have a channel with $2,000 to $3,000, maybe even like $5,000. You have proof of concept. You know that this is a real business model. You're just looking to scale and you're trying to figure out the bottleneck or the problem that's preventing you from scaling. And I'll tell you right now, it's nothing that you're not doing. It's just you're inexperienced and you just don't know exactly how to break past that. And that's why I'm here to show you how to fix that. So section 1, under $10,000 a month. And don't worry, if you're making over $10,000 a month, I'll show you how to scale whether you're at 20,000, 50,000, or even more than that. So the biggest mistake at this stage is trying to expand into new niches. The moment you have your first $100, $300, even $1,000 day, a light bulb almost goes off in your head and common sense almost tells you to make a new channel and to do 10 more channels. Because if you had $1,000 day, well, if you had 10 other channels, you could have $10,000 a day. And that's just not the case with YouTube and how this works. If your goal is to make $20,000 a month, something so doable, and make $240,000 a year, all you need is 1 to 2 channels and you can make that. I promise you, from my experience, how I made $60,000 last month, $20,000 a month from 1 to 2 channels is not a lot, and it's 100% doable. So the biggest mistake I see is people trying to scale too hard as soon as they have their first tiny bits of wins. When you see wins and you see something that works, what should you actually do? Instead of trying to diversify your channels and make a bunch of different channels in different niches, if you have proof of concept in one niche, for example, if we're looking at this channel, World War II Tales, they upload World War II stories, and you can see if we filter to oldest, they have videos that have been going pretty viral consistently, over 100,000 views for almost a year now. And what they did, instead of switching to it, they could have had Roblox channels, they could have had horror channels, they could have had any type of channel. If you go to latest now, they actually collab post all of their other channels, and instead of one avenue of revenue, they now have military loadout, World War II stories, World War II memoirs, and these channels each are pulling in millions and millions of views. Their main channel here, World War II Tales, has 33 million views, I think it was. Yep, 33 million views. This second one has 2.2, 1.6, and 2.4. So they absolutely are making a killing off these channels, and you wouldn't even know that it's owned by the same person. However, I know, because obviously I'm in the space, I know who it is. And also they're collab posting, which means they're not going to collab post a channel that isn't theirs. So they took this initial channel that was making a bunch of money, and rather than again going and steering off into different channels, they actually just made and doubled down on what's already working for their niche and channels. Another huge important thing to know is when you have a YouTube channel, if you did the right research, you did your due diligence, if you're already making a few $1,000s, and the only reason you got into this niche is probably because you saw similar channels getting multi-million views, 100,000 views, whatever it is, you know that there's scalability, well then you know that your channel can hit $10,000 or even $20,000 a month with no problem. Problem isn't hitting that. The problem is you just don't know how to actually get there. You don't understand what you're doing wrong or what you're missing out and not implementing. And so a lot of it, honestly, is the fact that you're putting your efforts and you're trying to speed and rush the process up. I remember when I had my first $5,000 month, I instantly wanted to get to 10, 20, even $50,000. And in my head, just like everyone else watching this video probably, everyone is just thinking, oh, I should just make more channels, I should just duplicate, I should just go, hire more people, spend more money. And that couldn't be further from the truth. When you look at all the richest people in the world, they're known for maybe 1 or 2 companies, 1 or 2 businesses that they started or founded. They're not known for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different businesses, right? Now they may invest in it now that they got to their level that they're at, but they started off with 1 or 2 crazy big companies, scaled those, and of course now that they have the capital, they can do whatever the fuck they want now. Same thing applies to YouTube. Stick to what works. If it works, double down until it doesn't work, and you're just gonna basically milk it. And so second thing is, before you even add a second channel, you want to look at what you're already doing. Again, look at World War II Tales. They could have pivoted and made a different channel in any type of niche, but they stayed and stuck to what they already know best. And to simply put it, you basically want to look at what's already doing. Let's say, for example, you're at $5,000 a month, you're trying to scale to $10,000. Well, something that helped me in my experience, and even some of my students one-on-one, is if you're uploading 3 times a week, instead of trying to go from 5K to 10K by making different channels, why don't you just double your output, right? Realistically speaking, if you just doubled your output, you would go from 3 videos a week to 6. And if you're already at 5K a month, well, then you would probably hit 10K or very near to it. So you just really need to ask yourself, if you uploaded more content, if you posted more on the channel that you already have that's monetized and you have proof of concept and you probably have already an established audience, could you hit your goal? And again, even if you don't hit it directly, even if you don't go from 5K to 10K, you'd probably land around 8K, even close to 10K. So see if you can upload more videos. Now, for some of you, you have high editing, you have a little bit longer turnaround times for your videos. In that case, there's not a whole lot you can do. This is where you need to sit and analyze and actually see how we can fix your channel and scale it properly. And right here, my next step is going to be a very important one, which is team structure. And by no means at this point should you be looking to automate the entire process. If you're under $10,000 a month, yes, you're doing good. You have proof of concept. But to be honest, $10,000 a month with YouTube automation is by far the bare minimum. And it's only a hint at what you can get in the future by making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And because at this stage, you're still learning, you're still understanding and developing the SOPs and the workflow and the instructions, you should have a team of freelancers, whether it's helping with editing, helping with thumbnails, things that you're either not really good at or things that just speed up the process. But you shouldn't be looking to fully outsource the team, because the second you try and outsource too early or you try and scale too early, those are both negative factors that will not speed and won't scale your actual channel. Because anything under 10K a month, you don't have enough experience and you don't know for sure what works. You're just kind of hitting that first type of growth, and you really need to double down and figure out why it works, what works, and how you can make SOPs and instructions. So team structure at this stage still needs to be hands-on, and it's still a very early. You're going to need workflows. You're going to need SOPs. If you don't know what an SOP is, it's basically just a detailed instruction where someone with no brain basically can read it and follow instructions and get the same result for your channel. And you need to lock that in before even think about stepping back. Like for me, if I wanted to take my phone and go to the pool or travel across the world, I could do that, because as long as I have access to the internet, I don't need to be physically sitting at my desk because I have a team outsourced. Now, of course, for channels that are a little bit smaller or that need help, I'm the one doing more of the ideation, figuring out how we can fix the SOPs, the workflow, establishing and just really systemizing the thing. Because the difference from faceless channels and face personality based and like personal brand channels is scalability. When you look at FaZe Rug, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, of course, they're all rich, but they're also only the 0.0001% of personality-based channels, where there's faceless channels where you can have somebody, one single person, owning 100 different channels if they really wanted to. It's all just becomes down to system, workflows, and the amount of teams and the amount of freelancers that you have. So for the team structure, you should hire your editor, thumbnail designer, the basic freelancers, but you don't want to hire a channel manager to do the entire work for you, because again, it's just not going to help. Quick pause. I want to show you guys something. Here is Priti, who made $50,000 in a single month. And till now, she has made over $500,000 with Faceless YouTube. And there are dozens of other students who had one-on-one access to me, and I personally helped them scale their channels from 0 to where they're at now. So if you want the same type of support with me, then you can apply for the one-on-one down below with the link in the description. Let's get back to the video. Section 2, now you're making over $10,000 a month. So now you've already passed $10,000 a month and you're probably running multiple channels, and this is where the game changes forever. This is where it gets fun. At $15,000 plus a month, you've proven that the model works. You know that this is something that you want to do, and now you want to go balls to the wall. You want to try and get to $50,000 a month, because that's the next big milestone. First thing to note is every hire from here should be intentional. When you go to hire teams, freelancers, agencies, you need to hire someone that has personal experience in your niche, in your channel, and they can send you direct examples. What ends up usually happening is people don't know how to hire properly. They don't know how to vet them. They don't know how to interview them, what to look for, what questions to ask. And then their channel goes from making 10 to 15K a month to the very next month quite literally dropping 50% because they made a very bad hire. And making bad hires isn't just negative because you spent money. It's now that their work sets the standard for your channel when new viewers go to see your channel. So if you have a very bad video, well then now people have a bad taste. They're probably not going to want to come back if it was a bad video. So making sure that you have every hire intentional and that every single person has proof of concept with your exact proven niche, that's going to be the key thing in differentiating a bad freelancer or bad agency to a good agency and a good freelancer team that you want to work with and you actually want to hire. At 15K, aiming for 50K a month, everything changes completely, because now every single role, whether it's scriptwriter, thumbnail designer, video editor, voiceover, it doesn't matter. Every role plays a bigger part in your overall channel. So it's no longer you, it's now your freelancers and your agencies, and they need to take this seriously. This isn't just another job for them. This isn't just another opportunity. This is something where they could potentially make a bunch of money, because if you end up making $100,000 a month, why would you not pay them 1 to 2K a month? And in third world countries where these freelancers work, that's a lot of money. They're going to be moving like the president out there. So don't hire an editor who says he can just do the job. You need to hire someone that can show you proof, can show you testimonials, results, big clients that they've worked with, outlier videos, viral videos. You want to see as much proof of concept as possible. And that's how you know you can actually make the right hire. And the cool thing is when you make the right hire and you find the right freelancer teams, these people can be used across 2 to 3 channels. So for your channels, you don't need to hire a new person for every single position. It's really only when they're maxed out and they're now full-time on your channel working with you alone. And like I said, they can typically work for 2 to 3 channels at once. Now, the next hire that you actually want to start focusing on, potentially looking at, is a content manager. This is going to be the one that's the key differentiator from 15K to 30K to 50K. This is when you start getting into those bigger numbers, and we're closing on $500,000 a year, which is a serious business. Basically, someone managing other big channels and seeing what exactly your bottleneck is. For example, if you're posting 2 videos a week and you can't scale that output by posting more because your turnaround time is a lot and you're already spending a lot of money, well, we can't just technically output and post more because you can't. So we need to look for someone who runs the day-to-day production, so that way you're not chasing the deliverables and you don't have to run every single process by yourself. You yourself, and the way that I run my channels is I'm basically the CEO. I manage everything. I talk to the freelancers if they need from me, and I always am looking for new talent. New talent and hiring new people constantly is genuinely the best thing that you can do for your business, because if you have a YouTube channel making 10K a month, when you hit 50K or even 100K, I promise if you looked back at your team, you would be like, wow, I can't believe I hired them. But at the time, they were like the best of the best. And then when you level up and keep leveling up, you're going to keep looking back and going like, man, I can't believe we even made it that far. That team sucked. So it's definitely super important to constantly look at acquiring new talent. And now for the people making some serious money, the roadmap to $50,000 a month. This is where it actually gets really interesting, because now you could easily scale from 50K a month to 100K to even like $200,000 a month, which would be insane. This is where you want to start by looking at your output. Are your videos taking too long to produce? Are they not long enough? This is when knowing your audience, knowing what type of videos. A lot of people don't know this, but the length itself is a niche in and of itself. So if you're targeting 70-year-olds, you don't need to make your videos 8 minutes, 10 minutes. You can make 20, 30, 40-minute videos every single day, and they'll watch it because they are typically in a recliner. They're typically just have nothing else to do. They're probably retired. So they can watch, they have nothing else to do. They can watch videos all day long. Versus if you're targeting the younger audience, you have to make it around 8 to 15 minutes. That's usually the sweet spot because their attention span is cooked and it's super hard to retain them as a viewer. So now instead of posting 2 videos a week, you're going to be doing 4. And then in order to do that properly, all you need to do is, if your current team can't do any more videos that they're currently doing, this is when you just hire an equally qualified team to help as a second team, and now they can do another 2 to 3 videos, and you go from 2 videos a week to 4 to 5. And again, you basically double your output like that. And something I also just want to make clear, because at $15,000 to $20,000 plus a month, anything over that this is a real business, and this is when it needs to click in your mind that this is like life-changing opportunity. We haven't even got to exiting channels and selling for 15 to 20 times X the monthly revenue. That's a whole other side of this YouTube automation business. But the fact that you're making 15 to 20K a month plus, this is when you know that stuff's about to get good. And for 50K a month, you want to look at, is your niche still scalable past this? Look for small channels similar in your sizing, super big channels. You want to basically see if there's possibility to 5X your views. Are you the #1 lead channel in your niche? If so, keep posting, but you probably want to make another channel and pivot off that, because this niche isn't going to last forever. And you always want to have competition and look at other people. That way you're never having to be the originator and come up with all the viral ideas just for other people to feed off of you. This is also the stage where you start slowly taking yourself out of the business, and this is going to be the common mistakes to avoid as well. You don't want to jump into different niches the second you hit success. Again, even at 50K a month, there's usually scalability to hit 75, even 100K a month. But again, it depends on how niche down you are. And if you do need to make another channel in order to get to that next goal of 70 to 100K, well, you want to make sure that you're trying to stay around this adjacent niche, because again, you can pivot, you can sub niche down so specific. And if you already have proof of concept, if you already have this main parent channel, like I said, the whole collaboration feature that you can do on YouTube is literally a cheat code. You could take one channel that's doing the same content. World War II Tales has 4 different channels, maybe 5, posting all World War II content. It's all different types of ideas, but it's overall the same content, and it could be posted on one. But rather than oversupplying and over pushing content, they're just diversifying, making different channels, getting a different brand, different name on it, and they literally 5X their revenue just by doing that. It's that simple. Now, at this point, I will say this: do not try to fully automate yourself out of the business. Again, even at my level, I'm not trying to make this passive income fully where I can just not do any work and I'm making money and collecting checks every month. At the end of the day, I need to stay in the YouTube business game. I want to see what's working. I want to stay up to date with the trends, what the new niches are, the gaps in between, especially utilizing AI. That is a complete game changer for YouTube. What used to take a week to produce with a freelancer or agency team can now be done in just a few hours utilizing AI if you know what you're doing. And this is when you should start using a lot more AI and implementing AI in your channels. Like, have someone who's on the team who's really good at using Claude, even running like channel and competitor research with Claude, and they're checking daily refreshes. They have a spreadsheet, and you just do daily or weekly audits. That way you don't have to do that, but you can stay up to date by just reviewing it for 20 minutes a day. And the best part is Claude can build all the spreadsheets for you, track competitor channels, surface new video ideas automatically. It can just do everything that you are typically doing manually. And instead of hiring someone for that, you can just have Claude or Claude Code do it manually. And that way you just type to Claude, hey, give me the audit for this week. And it'll give you an entire head to toe of what you need to look for, what changed in the market, what happened, and maybe what you missed out on, what you capitalized on, so you know for the future. Now, before I go, let me just give you the over $10,000 a month stage mistakes that a lot of people make. And we've already touched on this in the video, but I just want to make sure and solidify that this actually sticks in your brain. That way you are actually able to leave this video with some knowledge. So again, hiring too many people too fast without SOPs. Just because you have a team or just because you have an agency or freelancers doesn't mean that you have a real business. All a business means is that you are making money. Now, you want to make sure that when you're hiring people, again, they have experience, they have proof of concept, you know who you're hiring, right? They're not just a random editor. They're not generic. You want to make sure that you have SOPs and a workflow and instructions. That way, when you onboard them, even though we already know that they're qualified, you're able to show them how you do certain things, and maybe they can piggyback off that and go, hey, I like what you did, but I took this and instead I implemented this because for the past 5 years I've been doing it like this, and now boom, maybe you have a better SOP now. Second thing would be spreading into too many niches at once instead of doubling down. Again, this example is super good. We even have this guy, Elias Yoder. This is a brand new channel and they utilize AI. Oldest video is a little over a month ago, but what's crazy is the fact that they got 10.7 million views in a month with their most popular videos, 2 of them getting over 1 million views with basically 30 minutes each duration for the videos, which is crazy. He didn't need to make another channel. He didn't need to get into another niche. He needs to double down on what's working. And at this point, if you wanted to scale and make 2, 3, 4 channels, of course he could, because he's basically the face of that niche. Now, this is something that not a single person talks about, and this is quite literally the only thing that separates a profitable business from a net negative or a business that's failing. So tracking profit margins per channel. Everyone wants to hit these goals of 5K a month, 10K a month, 100K a month. That's great. But if you don't know the profit margins or the cost per video or the costs overall per month on your channel, this is super detrimental. You need to track down how much are you paying per position? How much are you paying this agency team? You need to look at, if you're making $10,000 a month, what percentage is profit to you versus how much are you paying? I like to stay in the range of anywhere from 80 to 95% of profit for my channels. Obviously, the smaller when they're first starting out, typically I'm in more profit, but at scale, if I have a channel making 30K a month, that's probably where I'm around 85% profit for that. And again, the team is doing everything for me in terms of scripts, video producing, content management, looking at ideas for me. Even though I do that on myself, I still like to hire and just have as many eyeballs as possible. One, because I can afford it because I'm making money. So of course, why not? The more the merrier. And I have more channels. And this last part, which a lot of people have no idea how this works. And again, it's because YouTube is a real business. Of course, we're trying to make money. Of course, we want to stay faceless and anonymous. And that's kind of the whole thing with it. But this is a real business. And because of that, a big mistake for people making over $10,000 a month, you're probably profiting around the 80% or 90% profit margin. You're making multiple $100,000 a month. You're pretty much doing and buying and living however you want. Now, it's super important that you're not underpaying key roles like editor, content managers, or even like script writers, right? They're kind of the make and break in the actual structure of your videos and channel. So you want to make sure that you're not just trying to save money and cheap out on these positions, because at the end of the day, if these people were to quit or they were to leave you, you would probably be like, oh shit, I should have just paid them the extra $100, $200 a month, and it would have been fine. So don't cheap out on the key roles. Make sure you're taking care of your team. You're paying them on time. You're giving them bonuses as well for performing videos or performing months. Keeping a solid relationship with all of your freelancers or all of your teams, whether you work with them forever or just a little bit, is always good. So this was my entire system that as long as you implement it correctly, no matter what revenue level you're at, you will hit your first $50,000 a month with YouTube automation. But let me be completely honest. honest with you guys, this isn't as easy to implement by yourself as it is with having someone help you. You're probably going to fail multiple times. So if you don't want to make the mistake of trying to figure this out all alone and by yourself, and you actually want me to personally help you one-on-one to scale your own YouTube channel, then you can apply to work with me one-on-one. Just click the link in the description, fill it out. It takes less than 30 seconds. If you made it this far in the video, comment the word loyalty. I'll go through and heart some comments. And if you have any specific questions or any topics that you guys want me to make videos on, drop it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.